Hey guys, welcome back to Strength and Steel Reviews. Chris here, and today I'm giving you my 6-month update on the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro. At this point, you've probably seen many of the initial review videos out there. Well, I don't see many people speaking of their extended experience with the Hyper Pro, or more generally, how the Hyper Pro has held up over time. After 6 months of consistent use, I'm here to share my personal thoughts on the Hyper Pro to help you decide if it is indeed still worth your investment. Today I'm going to tell you which exercises I personally think it performs best and which ones I think it could improve upon. We will also discuss how the Hyper Pro's materials have held up over time and whether it is indeed a true space saver or if, despite its many functions, it still hogs some serious home gym real estate. Some serious topics, people. It's been 6 months. Let's see if I made the right decision. So, the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro is marketed as a 9-in-1 machine, which means it's designed to replace 9 other gym machines. Leg extensions, flying leg curls, back extensions, a GHD, reverse hypers, Nordic curls, decline sit-ups, hip thrusts, split squats, and even some upper body stuff, which, heads up, I don't like very much. Now, if you're familiar with these types of multifunctional machines, then you know they typically shine in a few areas, partially succeed in others, and fall short in some too. It's just kind of the nature of the beast with multifunctional pieces. So first, we're going to dive into the exercises that I think it performs best, and then we can roll downhill from there. After that, we'll discuss storage, durability, and I'll even complain a little while. Oh, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you're thinking about picking up the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro, check out the affiliate link in the description. It helps support the channel at no extra cost to you. But okay, let's get to our first exercise. So first up is the Nordic curl. If there's one feature of the Hyper Pro that I absolutely love, it's the Nordic curl functionality. The adjustability on this machine is terrific. I think there are 14 levels of adjustment, which is wild. Why is that so special? Well, it's special because you can easily adjust the machine from a decline position to a much more manageable incline, which is perfect for progressively working your way up to a full, unassisted Nordic curl. And you're gonna need help because it is truly astonishing how weak that portion of the hamstring is at the beginning of your Nordic curl journey. The padding on the Hyper Pro makes this movement very comfortable, and the ability to progressively overload through these adjustments is a game changer. I'm still trying to get my back perfectly straight for a full Nordic curl, but yeah, thanks to the available adjustments, I have seen undeniable progress over time, and it is awesome. If you're serious about hamstring development, then as my mother used to say, you will be a happy camper. Moving on to another favorite of mine, back extension. This is another exercise I feel like the Hyper Pro does extremely well. It feels good. The easily adjustable incline moves smoothly with markers that do clearly indicate the degree of the angle. Also, the Hyper Pro's pad is large and there's a strategically placed cut right down the center for any of you fellas out there desperate to protect the goods. Now, there is a little lateral movement here, even with everything tightened down, but it has not affected my ability to perform the movement, which is why I still use it so often. Anyway, I've been using this weekly for strengthening my lower back, and it works super well. I couldn't imagine being without it. It's quite the romance we have, and I refuse to complain. So when I first checked out the decline sit-up feature on the Hyper Pro, I did not expect much, but the Hyper Pro really surprised me with this one. Now, while it won't replace a dedicated bench, it works well enough for those of us with limited space. I usually warm up with body weight, and then I progress to weighted sit-ups. Honestly, it's better than I expected, and it does a solid job of targeting the core without requiring a separate piece of equipment, which, yes, earns my stamp of approval. Okay, next up is a big one, the lying leg curl, which I was initially skeptical about. I really wanted a knee flexion based hamstring exercise, but I feared a poor range of motion, especially because this machine is plate loaded. I was concerned the resistance curve wouldn't feel natural and that it wouldn't provide the proper stretch on the hamstrings, but honestly, I was again pleasantly surprised. Despite my reservations, this does the job. The resistance on the hamstring is great. You get a good stretch, and though it's obviously no commercial grade machine, it definitely works. Yes, the resistance curve will feel imbalanced. Heavy at the bottom, light at the top, but that's unavoidable with plate loaded machines. For a multifunctional home gym piece, it does perform this function as well as I think anyone can expect. I use it all the time. I really dig it and I'm grateful for it. And then we have the leg extension, which for me is actually one of the stronger points of the Hyper Pro. I had a lot of the same concerns going into this one, but I was not as worried because I knew I could do my reverse Nordic curls to target the rectus femoris if I needed to. Still, I did want an additional tool to hit the rectus more directly and of course, to keep my workouts varied. And I am happy to report that the function works. This is a useful tool. I lean all the way back to really stretch out the rectus femoris. Sometimes I even lie flat on my back so I could do partial reps at the end of a set. The stretch feels good and it's comfortable. I can load up a decent amount of weight, though if you're controlling the lowering phase and going through the full range of motion, you really shouldn't need to. I use this feature all the time. Chris approves, thumbs up. Next up is the GHD, and we're talking about a few functions here: the glute hamstring raise, the reverse hyper, and my favorite, the GHD sit-up. So I love GHD sit-ups, and much to my dismay, not all commercial gyms have GHD machines. So this was actually one of the reasons why I decided to get the Hyper Pro. I wanted a Nordic curl, a hamstring curl, a back extension, and yeah, a GHD. All the rest were just pleasant surprises. Now, after 6 months of using it, I can say that though my quest for perfectly chiseled abs is not yet complete, this machine will remain in my inventory, no doubt. The pad is comfortable and the adjustable height allows me to experience a complete range of motion, which is critical for a good GHD sit-up. I love it. However, the reverse hyper and glute hamstring raise functions for me are another story. Initially, I had high hopes for the reverse hyper, but after using it, I found it to be underwhelming. But then again, I don't really love the movement to begin with, so take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. The Hyper Pro performs the basic movement of a reverse hyper, but lacks the spinal decompression and pendulum-like motion you'd get from a true reverse hyper machine, which is fine, but I don't like it. And as for the glute hamstring raise, I just don't find it as comfortable or as effective as I do with other movements like the Nordics or the leg curls. The GHD pad kind of gets in the way here, at least for me, so I also avoid this movement. That said, I use the GHD setup all the time, and it's one of the standout features for me. Despite the drawbacks in the other functions, it's reliable for sit-ups, and that's something I value from my home gym, and I'm grateful for it. Two more functions in the Hyper Pro that sit near the bottom of my list. First up would be the hip thrust function. In my opinion, it's pretty weak. The roller system does work, but it doesn't provide the same range of motion or stability you'd get from something like a machine, obviously, or in my case, just an ordinary adjustable bench. It's fine for moderate loads, but if you're looking to load up heavy, it might be an issue. Second, and I guess this is kind of controversial, would be the split squat functionality. I think it works well enough. It's located near the foot of the Hyper Pro. There's a small amount of play in the roller, but it's not overly noticeable during exercises. Personally, I also just use an adjustable bench for this too. I think the roller is nice and it's really easy to set up. I just don't use it, which is why I have it near the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna be totally honest here. I completely disregarded the upper body functionality of the Hyper Pro. For me, I simply use dumbbells or my functional trainer to target my upper body. When I got that upper body kit, I tried it out. I just don't think it quite matches the versatility or the ease of use that you get from something like dumbbells. So 6 months later, and being totally transparent, I don't even know where the provided handles and the upper body kit are. I have no idea. Now, when it comes to storage, the Hyper Pro is a big win. If you're short on space, you'll appreciate the vertical storage feature. There's a spring-loaded system at the back that allows you to fold it up and store it in a small space when it's not in use. This makes it super convenient for those who don't want a bulky machine taking up a lot of room in their home gym. You can easily store it in a corner or against a wall, making it ideal for small home gyms. Personally, I don't store mine. I leave it out on the open end of the garage door where it's exposed to all of the elements because I like the ease of use. But if you do value every inch of home gym real estate and you have an empty corner to put it in, there's no doubt that this is a solid option for you to maximize space in your home gym. All right, time to talk about durability. So after 6 months of sitting in the sun and occasionally being pelted by rain because garage doors apparently refuse to close without human intervention, my Hyper Pro has somehow remained perfectly functional. Thus far, there have been no issues or compromises in quality or function, which I think speaks to the durability of the materials used and certainly to the build. Even with the exposure to the elements, everything from the padding to the frame has held up remarkably well. There's no noticeable wear on the rollers or the frame. All adjustments continue to move smoothly, and I haven't experienced any rattling or loosening of parts. It's a miracle. So overall, I would say it's clear to me that Freak Athlete took durability strongly into account when designing this machine, because trust me, if they didn't, this poor thing would be crying for help. So for those of you concerned about longevity, the Hyper Pro is a solid choice, and I think you can expect it to last for many years to come, especially if you don't leave it by the open end of your garage door. All right, it's time to complain. So one of the few drawbacks that I've encountered with the Hyper Pro is the process of installing and removing the leg developer attachment. It can be a smooth process, but it also has the potential to be a real pain in the butt and super annoying. There are moments where the attachment just doesn't slide in or out as easily as I'd like, and it can take a little extra effort to get it in place, which again, annoys me. Thankfully, it's not something you'll be doing constantly, but when you do need to make the adjustment, it can be a bit of a hassle, especially if you're going to be storing it often. Another thing to note is that it takes a while to familiarize yourself with all the different adjustments. With so many settings for various exercises, it can feel a little daunting at first. However, Freak Athlete has made this a bit easier by color coding the knobs, which is a thoughtful touch. Plus, they've provided some useful learning tools online, which help you get the hang of things much faster. You just gotta follow along. Just keep watching and watching. Still, it is a learning curve, so be prepared for a little bit of trial and error when you're first setting things up. All right, let's wrap this puppy up. So after 6 months of use, the Hyper Pro has definitely exceeded my expectations. While it may not be perfect in performing every function, the overall value is undeniable. It performs a solid range of exercises. The Nordic curls, back extensions, and GHD sit-ups are some of the standout features, for me at least, and I've been thoroughly impressed by how well the machine handles these movements. Further, the storage feature is a game changer for anyone with limited space, and the machine has proven to be durable, even in less than ideal conditions. It's held up well despite inopportune exposure to the elements and, of course, frequent use. While I don't personally use the upper body functions or the hip thrust as much, they still serve as solid backups for those who may not have access to other equipment. So for anyone looking for a space-saving, durable, and affordable multifunctional machine that can replace several gym staples, the Hyper Pro is a great investment. It's hardly perfect, but for the price and the functionality it offers, it's definitely worth considering. And that's it for the review. Thank you for watching. If you did find this review helpful, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts on the Hyper Pro in the comments below. Would you consider adding this to your home gym? I want to know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Stay strong and stay steely. Adios.